Good morning, YouTube family and friends. I wanted to share a dream that I had last night. I know that it was from the Lord, but I don't understand all of the meaning of every part of it. So if anybody has any interpretation, you're welcome to share it. I do know some of the meaning, but there are a couple of things that were a little unclear, but I'm praying about it. Anyway, it started out, it was like I was going through life, and all of a sudden, like, it's really hard to explain. In my dream it made sense. Trying to explain it now, it sounds kind of strange, but okay, I'll try my best. So it was like I was in this big room, like not a theater exactly, but it was like this big round kind of thing with screens, where it was actually like double glass. And you know how mirrors can have, like, one side is reflective and the other side you can see through to watch the people. So it was like I was going through life on one side of that, like the mirrored side, and then all of a sudden in the next instant I was on the other side of it in the theater area. It wasn't really a theater, but that's the best word I can use to describe it. And I was on the side where you can see through the glass. And all of a sudden I was watching people who were still on the other side. And it's like I was seeing them, like, really seeing what was going on with them. Like how God sees us, you know, like, or, you know, we can see people on the surface, and we think people can see us on the surface, but God knows the hidden things. It was like when I was looking through that at people, I could see those hidden things, like their hidden sins. It wasn't anything specific, but it was just like I knew that that's what I was seeing. And it's like at first I kind of was looking at them, and then all of a sudden I saw what I recognized as myself. And it was me, and I knew, like, I could see myself. It was like I was watching kind of a replay of my life, sort of, not the whole thing, but I knew that's what I was looking at. And I saw myself come up to that mirror and look in the mirror at myself, and I guess I could kind of see my hidden sin, I guess, you know. And for me, like, one thing I struggle with is I don't know if you'd call it vanity, but like, I've worried about how my appearance too much, and I know that's a sin. That I know there's, like, probably roots to that, and, you know, people could say, you know, oh, you know, you're insecure, blah blah blah, you know. Yeah, there may be, but still it's a sin, and it's something that I have been working on with God to overcome, because I know, like, and until I recognized it as a sin, it was like hopeless, like, you know. But anyway, there's more to it than that. I'm not going to get into all my personal stuff, but anyway, I knew that for me, I was seeing myself in that area of my sin. And when I saw that, it was like I just felt stricken with grief over that sin, because I knew that, you know, that was what God saw in me, and it wasn't good. And immediately, like, I repented. Like, I got down on my face and I just cried out for mercy to Jesus and asked him just to forgive me and to give me mercy in that. And when I did, like, at first I felt sort of like hopeless, like, before I cried out for mercy, because I just thought, oh, you know, like, here I am thinking that I'm a good Christian, but then when I watched myself, I saw that, like, sin that was so just awful, you know, compared to God's goodness. But when I called out for mercy, prayed, you know, just for mercy, it was like, when I did, all of a sudden there was like this door that appeared out of nowhere. It was like it almost looked like a black door, but you could see it outlined, because it was like all around the edges were bright, like it was like there was a bright light coming from behind that door, and the door kind of started to open, and it was like I knew that door opened, when I only because of Jesus. It was like I knew there was nothing good in me that could, I guess I felt like that it was salvation or something. I don't know, but somehow that door didn't open until I cried out to Jesus for his mercy. I mean, even though I'm already saved, I've already done that in my dream. I don't know. That's just what I dream, so I'm not entirely sure how that works. But in my dream, that's what happened. And that door started to open, and then the next scene, I was going through that door, and it was kind of like a hallway, and it was, but it wasn't like a regular hallway. It kind of looked like a hallway, but it was sort of supernatural looking. Like, I don't know if it looked like I was going through, I wouldn't say heaven, because it wasn't like I had all of a sudden, like I was headed somewhere, and it wasn't like a physical hallway, but it kind of seemed like a hallway. But it's really hard to explain dreams sometimes. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the next part, I'm going through this hallway, and all of a sudden it looked like there was this horse and chariot, or not just one horse. There were horses and a chariot, kind of like a Roman style horses with chariot, and they were just headed really fast down the hallway, the opposite way that I was going. Like they were headed to where I was. And I don't know, they seemed like they were bad somehow. But when they got up to where I was, it was almost like I guess I was riding on something. I don't know, but I was above it somehow. And it was like whatever I was riding on, which it almost seemed like I was like on God's shoulders, which not literally, but somehow I was raised up above this chariot. And when it came to me, like it was like just going so fast that whatever I was on, like I sensed that it was God somehow. It crumbled the chariot to pieces. It's like it just obliterated the chariot. Like it was going to go straight through us, and it would have plowed me down. But when it got to me, somehow the chariot became obliterated. And so that was pretty much it, except I do remember one other thing I forgot to mention, and that was when I was about to go into the hall, all of a sudden, and I knew that was a good thing, like somehow I knew that was good, like I was headed to heaven or something like that. It was like I remembered my family, and I just started praying for my family. And it was like somehow I knew that what it kind of meant was like everybody is going to have to be accountable for themselves, for their own sin. Like we can look at other people's sin, and it's easy to just, to judge that, or to, point fingers. God doesn't want us to judge people. He does want us to help people, help snatch people from the fire, and we can judge fruits and stuff like that, But when it comes down to it, the only person that we are accountable, really, for our own choices is ourselves. And we are going to have to be accountable for that. And we're all going to need Jesus, because we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. And so when I started to go down that hallway, I remembered my family, and it was so strong on me how I just needed to pray for them, because they needed to be ready too to face that day when they were going to be accountable for their own choices and their own sin, and they're going to need to know, they're going to need to know to repent every day, like to just stay in God's grace by seeking Him and laying down our lives and asking for forgiveness and repenting daily for the sins that are known, and asking Him to show us the that are unknown. But I mean, most of all, to just make him their Lord and Savior, because no one is going to be able to stand without him. So anyway, that was just really strong in my dream. I don't know, everybody, a lot of people that I've talked to, and I have really been sensing that Jesus is going to be coming back really soon, and he's even impressed on us, and my husband had a dream that it's like soon actually is going to be sooner than we think of as soon. So we really need to be ready every day and just make that a reality in our lives, that day, the day of the Lord is at hand. That day will be coming very soon, and it's serious. It's not just something we talk about. We do talk about it, but when it really happens, we're going to be shocked that it's really happened, and we need to be ready. So I'm sorry that the dream was a little convoluted, but that's, how dreams go. But if anybody has any other interpretation, like the chariot thing, I wasn't entirely clear about that. I kind of have a feeling that what it means is, I guess that's sort of like maybe the enemy that's come to destroy us, and he was on his way, like he was going really fast, like purposeful, headed towards me, but because of my stance, and being positioned on the arms, of Jesus, he couldn't, and instead he was obliterated. I think that's kind of what that means. Like he had his assignment to come get me, but he couldn't. But I don't know, maybe there's more to it than that. So if anybody else has any interpretation, then that would be welcome, as long as it's good and of the Lord and not some crazy thing that some people come up with. Anyway, all right, God bless you all, and thank you for watching, and I hope it blessed you.